My next guest this evening
My guest tonight
is one of the Democratic presidential candidates you'll be seeing in the debate on Thursday.
You know who's going to be on stage? Who's going to be on stage that night?
Please welcome to The Late Show. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Andrew Yang.
Vice President Joseph R. Biden.
Who's the Asian man standing next to Joe Biden?
And
I'm running for president to solve the problems that got Donald Trump into the White House in 2016.
now you have announced that you are running for president. Spoiler alert.
Primarily that our economy is now automating away millions of jobs.
Because we're in the middle of something else going on here, nothing to do with Donald Trump.
We talk about it like Donald Trump is the cause of all of our problems. He is not.
And you never got to discuss the issues. And in the process, there's a lot of people who I think feel like they're being left behind.
This is called the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
We're in the middle of what I'd call, other people call, the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
When's the last time you heard a say the words Fourth Industrial Revolution? Just now.
Is there going to be middle class where, you know, Moore's Law, the IT, the way we're walking, artificial intelligence?
We really don't have much of a choice because artificial intelligence is about to become real.
Look what's happened with all the retail jobs that got lost.
And now we're going to do the same thing to millions of retail jobs.
Because of Amazon now, people go to Amazon.
It's companies like Amazon, $1 trillion tech company that paid zero in taxes last year.
And so all across the country, a couple 100,000 people lost their jobs.
We started with millions of manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania.
And people are worried.
So I spent a lot of time in Iowa, which is a really huge trucking hub. And you go to them and say, hey guys, you worried about robot trucks taking your jobs?
Truck drivers I talked to are saying, well,
They're like, there's no way a robot could take my job.
you know, they're going to automate trucking, I know, and I'm not going to have a job. I'm 52 years old, I'm making $80,000 a year, busting my neck.
Self-driving cars and trucks are around the corner.
And so
What's the answer to that?
the answer is we got to talk to them and tell them there's ways to do this. The way we can do this is, first of all, acknowledge.
You call it a freedom dividend. How does the freedom dividend work?
Well, the freedom dividend, if you can imagine a country where everyone's getting $1,000 a month as a right of citizenship, it would make our families stronger and healthier, it would create millions of jobs in our communities, it would improve our mental health, would decrease our stress levels, would improve relationships, and we can very much make this happen.
My dad also had an expression for real.
So my wife is at home with our two boys, 6 and 3, one of whom is autistic.
He said, Joey, I don't expect the government to solve my problem, but I expect these to understand my problem.
And what I say is like, what is her work valued at in GDP? And then people think about it and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, 0.
So you go out and you say, look, these changes we can mold like we've done every other major technological revolution.
And if you look at the Industrial Revolution, which people cite as the precursor to what we're going through,
Going all the way back to the cotton gin and the Luddites back in England in the early 1800s.
if the revolution's coming, then we need to get in front of it and start making it work for us instead of just waiting for it to tear us apart.
The solutions I heard were these.
And what we have to do, though, is we have to let them know there's things for example, we have to have continuing education. That is, when you're out of school and you've gone through high school and you've gone on a job and you end up finding out you're out of work, well, there are 100,000 jobs out there in high-tech manufacturing that people can learn.
I'm a Democrat, I love education, I love retraining, but again, I looked at the numbers.
But you need to be able to train people.
People legitimately talk about retraining coal miners to be software engineers. Stuff that on the face of it makes no sense.
You teach people how to run a photovoltaic machine on the floor that makes, solar panels.
Less than 10% of manufacturing workers qualified for federally funded retraining programs.
And we're terrible at it. Like, according to independent studies, government-funded retraining programs had a success rate of between 0 and 15%.
People can do these things, they have to know. And they flip the other side of that. I'm getting too wonky here.
If you put a mechanism in place where the American people get a tiny slice of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every Uber mile, then we can pay for a $1,000 dividend for the American people, particularly because it would come into our hands and we'd spend it. It would just go through the economy over and over again.
But the point is that I think we should be, for example, we could easily do it, triple the money we spend for what they call Title I, which is at-risk school districts.
If you look at it, we spend by international standards a pretty good amount of money in our schools, and yet we don't see the performance improvements that we want to see.
and make sure every single child, 4, 5, and 6 years old, is 3, 4, and 5.
2/3 of our kids' academic performance is determined by outside of school factors. So that's parental time with the child at home, that's stress levels in the house.
Because all the data's in now. If a kid goes, no matter what their background economically, how stressed the family is, if they go through that period, they have a 50% greater chance of going all the way through to high school, beyond that, without getting in trouble.
You have to get resources into the family to actually change the kids' outcomes in a meaningful way in many, many cases.
I mean, we have to invest in the things we know work.
I have done the math. It's not left. It's not right.
Not just Republican and Democrat.
It's forward, and that is how we're going to beat Donald Trump in 2020.
Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang. Yeah, yeah. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang.